Perry, I'm going to let you go second. I'll tell you for why, because you are the professional, sensible one among us. So
I've been said before.
Here's my England team, and I mean, you know, I could discuss it for 20 minutes. I'm going to try and do it in 2. The background to this team is that I think England have been increasingly confusing themselves in the last year and a half, maybe since they lost the Euros final, with lineups that don't make a great deal of sense to me. All England's power is up front, and all England's confusion, and mostly injuries, is at the back. And as a result, professional managers and coaches, they tend to say, well, we've got to reinforce where we're weak. No, concentrate on where you're strong. So, Perry, and I do understand that Gareth is not going to do this, but I was asked for my team. For the first time in living memory, England are going to play, Perry, 4-1-4-1 as a proper formation. So, Pickford in goal. Alexander-Arnold at right back, not right wing back, not midfield, playing at right back. He's got cover. I'll explain it in a second. John Stones has to play. I just don't know who to play alongside John Stones. In the end, because he's left-sided, you're going to go with Maguire in a 2. Dyer's form has fallen off a cliff since he got picked for England again. Connor Cody's in a team that's struggling. So Stones and Maguire, the old firm at the back, and Luke Shaw, who else is there to play left-back? Declan Rice will play defensively in front of that 4. Leaving, and I mean it, Declan, you've got to stay there, man, and you've got to get in between those centre-halves when the threat comes. And then the midfield 4, behind Harry Kane, are Saka, Bellingham, Mount, and I struggled to leave Raheem Sterling out because he's done so well for England. I would have no problem if it was him. But in the end, I've gone for Foden just because of the level he plays at most weeks when he gets to the team. So 4-1-4-1, Pickford, a back 4 of Alexander-Arnold, Stones, Maguire, Shaw, Rice really properly holding, and then a front 5 of Saka, Bellingham, Mount, Foden, and Kane. You may start laughing now, Perry.
No, do you know what, Dan? There's a little bit of synchronicity going on because I've gone fairly similar. I concur with everything that you've said on with Gareth Southgate. Our strength is in the forward areas and attacking areas, and when other teams look at you, they're looking at our talent in those areas and thinking, wow. Even when the strength on the bench, you know, to come on. I hope he starts making subs as well after with about 35 minutes to go, rather than waiting. So I've gone a bit of an Arsenal. It's sort of a 4-1-4-1, but it can be quite fluid. So I agree with obviously Pickford. He'll go and go. He's his number 1. I'm going to go for Kieran Trippier at right back because I think it's in unbelievable form for Newcastle.
That's a perfectly sensible thing to do.
And the thing is as well, I know Alexander-Arnold gives you that quality going forward, but so does Kieran Trippier. He's created as many chances as anybody else in the final third, not just from his free kicks, but from open play. So you've got his free kicks, you've got his...
Because he's in a good balanced team at Newcastle.
Exactly. Well, they go 4-3-3, so he can play in, obviously, the flat back 4. Stones, I agree with, he's the shoe-in. Now, I'm going to play Harry Maguire, and the only reason being is because Southgate is either going to play a 3 or he will switch to a 3 later on in the tournament because he'll revert to type. Sure. Harry Maguire needs to play himself back into a little bit of form. This is where he's not going to be really stretched, you hope, against Iran because they're going to be more on the back foot. So it's a great opportunity for him. I would, on form, it would be between Ben White and Harry Maguire, and I'm going to go with Harry Maguire for that. You said about Luke Shaw, the only left-sided left-back that we have for balance. I would have taken McElhenney in the squad, but that's another discussion.
Oh, yeah.
Declan Rice, 100%, and he will play the Thomas Partey sort of role, where he just sits and marauds around the area, and his passing range is really good. In front of him, I've gone, again, very similar on the Arsenal, because I think we got the players that can do that. Odegaard plays in the middle with Granit Xhaka.
He's not English.
No, and I'm going to go for Phil Foden to play in that role, because I think he's that talented. He can play anywhere in those front areas. And I agree with you again, we want as many forward-thinking players on the pitch as possible. Then next to him, I'm going Jude Bellingham, because he can play in the 6, he can play in the 8, he can get himself into the box. And then Bukayo Saka will be on the right-hand side, being Bukayo Saka. So that's quite an easy one for him. And then on the left, I've gone for Raheem Sterling, because he can play on the left-hand side and get himself in. I think he's enough. You mentioned all your players that are shoo-ins. I think Raheem Sterling is a shoe-in as well, because he's done so brilliantly for England in the past.
And that's what I did say. He's definitely done that. And also, he is the one, along with Saka, who, in any formation that England play, somebody has to get beyond Kane when he gets the ball. He's such a brilliant passer of the ball, but it only works if people go beyond him. And I think Raheem knows that and has oddly enough, it was Marcus Rashford when he was really playing well for England. It was the ball from Kane to Rashford that was hurting teams. Marcus perhaps not yet rehabilitated enough to get himself into that team. So those are our ideas. Actually,
sorry, Harry Kane up
similar.
front.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Right, just in case you was wondering, Harry Kane.
Yeah, no. Knowing you, Ben might be playing up front. And incidentally, by the way, the Tollington, as if I wouldn't, you made me all nostalgic for my home patch again now. Exactly halfway between the Emirates and the Sobel Centre, isn't it? Let's be truthful.